Hey everybody, welcome to Geek Rant. It's Greg again here with Toby, and today we're going to be talking about episode 2 of The House of Dragon. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about the second episode of The House of the Dragon. I keep getting that wrong. I keep saying House of Dragons, but it's the House of the Dragon. It's an important
Yeah,
distinction.
it is.
Anyway, yes, we both watched this Monday night,
Yep.
and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know about you, Toby. What was your first
Yeah.
impressions?
Not as much as the first one, but
Hmm.
I did enjoy it. I sat there and I was caught up in the drama
Yeah,
for the whole episode.
yeah,
I thought
yeah,
it it played out initially how I thought it would. Bearing in mind
hmm,
I haven't read the book, so I don't know the
yeah,
story.
yeah,
But it was very much a setup, wasn't it, to make us think something was going to happen at the end, and it didn't, and something
yeah.
else happened. So yeah, I mean the title of it's the Rogue Prince, but I felt that it was more about the who Viserys was going to marry
Yes,
rather
yes,
than the prince being rogue. Um,
yes. I mean, there was that element to it, wasn't there? So, I mean, I don't know where to start really. Should we
but
just
yeah, I mean briefly
talk
go
through the
through
episode a little bit?
little bit.
Um, Obviously, at the beginning, you see a bit about because there's this threat at the moment. Yeah, the pirates at the beginning. Yeah,
Crab feeder.
the crab feeder. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So basically, you see, don't you, at the beginning, an image of this marauder who's pirates who's getting attacking ships, attacking some of
Yeah.
the ships that Corlys is one of his ships is destroyed. Obviously,
Yeah.
he brings this information to the council.
Yeah. He's
Um,
outraged.
yeah, by this guy who is the known as the crab feeder because he stakes
Mm.
the people down and lets these crabs crawl all over them
Yeah.
and eat them just to add a little element of Game of Thrones to it.
Yeah. And I think they throw in there that all the people that work for the crab feeder are from the Free Cities,
That's right.
and that it
Yeah.
puts Viserys in a very sticky situation if he's going to go up
Hmm.
against the crab feeder, because that would almost be like war against the Free Cities, and they don't want that.
Yes. No. No. They're powerful, aren't they?
But they are
They've
getting more and
obviously
more powerful. So
yeah, and obviously this is upsetting Chorus, who is obviously he's has the main armada, doesn't he, for the
mm,
kingdom, and he's feeling threatened by this, and that it will
hmm
affect his trade routes and his wealth basically.
yeah,
So he's keen to try and he's putting pressure on the king to try and make him deal with it.
yeah,
uh, and you see a little bit, don't you, of Rhaenyra's there. She's Rhaenyra, sorry. She's sort of there as the cup holder in this meeting, and she says, "Well, we could send the dragons," and
yeah.
it shows the sort of the
Her,
slight
her
bit
well,
of
yeah, her position has been elevated since she's been
yeah,
announced as heir. So I think
yeah,
she's starting to take more of an interest in
hmm,
how the kingdom is run, and she's like, well, we have this muscles, let's
yeah,
use it. But
yeah. It's
Viserys
flexing a bit.
isn't really
No,
that interested in doing that, is he? In fact,
no, he's
he's pictured as weak throughout this episode to a certain extent. He doesn't make decisions that would
he
have
he
seemed to
says at
be
one point,
wise.
doesn't he? He does he thinks that war should be the last sort of resort. He should be
Yeah,
trying to protect the kingdom, and that war should be a last resort sort of scenario,
yeah,
which is fair enough. But then obviously he gets, like you say, there was a lot then suddenly about trying to get him to wed somebody else.
yeah.
There's a there's
The
pressure.
Valerian daughter, of
Yes,
Corylus.
yes,
So they would join the lines because they're these blonde Valerians, and if they come together, they'll be
that's right.
strong, which makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
In
yeah.
the scheme of things.
Yes, it does. It does. And obviously he's has a bit of a pressure put on him, doesn't he, by Corylus, and
Yeah,
in a private sort of discussion, which I think just upsets Otto Hightower, because he said, well, this should be discussed at the
yeah.
council, not for people to come to you privately.
Mm.
And obviously the king discusses it with him, and he obviously says, well, she's only a child, and you see her, don't you? She's like 12
Yeah.
or something.
She looks about 10.
um yeah.
Suddenly out of
So
the blue. She's not been in it before, really.
no, well, it's understandable, isn't it? they're,
Yeah.
they're just bringing in a
Only a
minor
little give.
character who
Yeah.
um and I mean, he also speaks to one of the other council members, doesn't he? I can't remember which character that was or what house he was part of, but he then says, it's a good idea. You should, and he says, yeah, but she's 12. And he's like, yeah, but she'll grow up. Don't worry. It's
Yeah.
about cementing the strength of the kingdom and doing that, you know.
And
Well,
we can see the storylines pushing towards this, but we know that
yeah,
there's the undercurrent with this
yeah,
storyline that uh, Alicent Hightower,
yes,
daughter of Otto Hightower, has
yeah,
been meeting with the king, in his
yeah,
chamber. But
yeah.
it's a very sort of wishy-washy relationship. I never felt like it was really that strong. There was
No,
never any kind of sexual implication, um, and no
no,
physical attraction, as far as I could tell.
right.
They maybe had a little gift, and he was treating her like a niece, wasn't he?
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
really
Yes,
didn't
yeah,
seem that
I
strong
agree
to
with
me.
you. I agree with you. It's it's quite a hard one to portray because she's still quite a young woman, isn't she, in
Yeah,
comparison to
I think
him?
she's meant to
So
be 17 or 18, isn't she? Maybe.
yeah, and I think he probably feels, she's still very young.
But this is Game of Thrones. It hasn't stopped them in the
Yes.
past, has it?
No,
So
no, but this I think shows that he's the king is a kind of a half decent guy. He's not. He's. I know you're saying, oh, they portray him as being weak, but
mm,
in actual fact, he's got some sort of decency. You know what I
he's got
mean?
some
He's
morals.
got some. He's got some morals. For a
Mm,
Targaryen, that's quite good, isn't it? But I know it's going to be probably ultimately his downfall, and
yeah, pretty much on the
don't have
cards,
any
isn't it?
morals if you're sitting on the throne, but he does he does have more of a fatherly figure towards her than he does in but I think a lot of it is more about the fact that he's kind of being expected to take a wife, and to try and
Yeah,
have more heirs.
we are a little bit further on, and we're 6 months on, aren't we?
Yes, that's right.
And
I
so
think that
that
was
was
another thing.
weird.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit weird that it jumped 6 months. Yeah, it's because they talk about Damon, don't they? Having gone back to Dragonstone, and
Yeah,
he's now sort of like not barricaded himself in there, is he? But he's taken some of the gold cloaks with him,
yeah.
to sort of become
Well,
prince of the
virtually all of them,
island.
isn't he? Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got his little
yeah,
army, 1,000
yeah.
strong, don't they say at some point? I can't remember, but
Yeah, I can't remember how many they said, but yes, it
yeah.
came across that he had a bit of a regiment there, didn't he?
And then
And
we find out that he is going to marry
Is an
Mysteria or
abomination
whatever
with
her name
every
is,
breath you sign your
and
name.
that they've come and stolen one of the eggs from their
yeah,
dragon den.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and it's just sort of bang out of the blue.
yes,
Viserys gets this information
it
just suddenly.
it is, yeah,
Weird.
yeah, yeah.
Didn't
But
quite link up.
yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, but I kind of think it's like a spoilt child. He's acting to get attention, isn't he? Basically,
Yeah.
he doesn't back it up when they sort of go and confront him. He doesn't he can't really back it up. I know he
No,
brings out the dragon,
he just
but
stands there looking stupid,
yeah, when
not really being
Rhaenyra
able to
turns
explain
up,
anything. Rhaenyra turns up with
yeah,
her dragon,
he backs
and
down, doesn't he?
yeah, he backs down. He doesn't really even argue.
No,
He just looks a bit pathetic. And in fact, he's saying stuff that his Mysteria is really unaware of. She then
yes,
has a go at him about
she
some of the
does
stuff that's been
afterwards,
spread.
doesn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she's not pregnant.
No,
He's stolen this egg just because he just wanted to steal the egg,
yeah.
and it's I just thought that
Well, it
that was
was
stupid.
also it was also the egg that had been placed in the cradle of the son that had died,
Yeah.
and Balon, and
Why did he do that? I
again,
mean, it's weird.
well, again, it's a little bit of a trying to. I think he's trying to get his brother to come and confront him and to come and talk to him, and
Yeah.
and trying to find a
And that
way for them
he's
to
the heir.
build.
It should be his
Yes,
egg, it should be
yes,
his
yeah,
child who's the heir.
yeah,
And
yeah,
there's a lot of threats about to the ascendancy, isn't there? And him, will he have a boy, and then will that boy then become the king? You know,
yes, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I thought that that was pretty. I thought that again, Matt Smith's role in that was pretty weak. I didn't feel that he had much presence at all. I mean, he looks the part, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, yeah.
he kind of just throws it back to her at the end, and
Yes.
yeah, I didn't think that was
Yeah,
very good.
he did back down, didn't he? He'd gone to all this length and then he'd back down, and you
Mm,
kind of think, well, would the men still, be so? Would they look at that as a sign of weakness? Because that's kind of a sign of weakness, isn't it?
yeah,
Um,
his
but
gold cloaks, but they're very loyal apparently. But
yes, yeah, yeah.
doesn't look like a very nice
Um,
place to live up there.
no, no. Well, no, we saw that was the same. It was the same location, wasn't it? That was in the latter series of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, it's quite a defensible place, isn't it? Really.
Mm,
Those little windy, paths to get to the castle and stuff,
mm.
and probably make it quite a good defensible
Yeah, I mean, it
location.
looks pretty good, pretty nice to
Yeah.
defend. I thought that it
Mm.
was interesting that we saw Raniere start to take an interest in Sir Kristen Cole. I thought that that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna hear more about that. I think that's going to play
Yes.
a part in the future.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah,
He's obviously been, he's going to be one of the main characters, isn't he? Because they had him in the first episode, knocking
yeah,
old Damon Targaryen off his horse and beating him, and
yeah,
then he's obviously popped up now as one of the, and again, because they keep sort of saying, not a lot of the army have any real experience in battle. It's been a long period of peace, and you
exactly.
know he's one of the few people that's had some experience. So I'm wondering if he's gonna sort of, but again, he's still in the background a little bit, isn't he?
Mm,
He's only had a few lines. They've only sort of attempted that.
yeah,
um and yeah, that will be interesting to see how that one pans out. Whether he's gonna, she, I don't know, is she gonna like him? Is that going to be a thing that happens, that they get
I
together?
think so. I think there's going to be some kind of connection there.
Yeah, yeah,
I felt like with this episode,
yeah.
they cut out some chunks.
Right.
I felt like
Okay.
there were moments. It feels like we're missing moments between Otto and King Viserys.
Yeah.
I feel like there was definitely some kind of communication. I think we're missing Viserys and Alicent. Are that there's more going on there that we've lost. I think there may have been
That's
more
interesting.
at the at Dragonstone with Damien. I just felt that there were little bits missing
Yeah.
from this episode.
Right. Okay.
It was deeply political, and I enjoyed that side,
Yes. Yeah,
and I
I did
enjoyed
too. I,
all of
I
that
liked it.
intrigue.
I like that they're trying to build it, build up what's happening with all the different houses and the roles and that sort of thing. So I think that was good. You
Yeah,
know, Obviously it was at the end there, well, it wasn't a surprise to us, but it was a surprise to everybody that the king then announces that he's going to marry Alicent,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
He
what
wasn't a
Otto.
surprise to us. Yeah,
It wasn't a
he
surprise
was.
to us.
No, it wasn't. It was
No.
pretty clear what he was going to do.
Yes.
He just stood there with this
Yes.
stupid look on his face and then said
Yeah.
Alicent. I mean, as if they'd all had a discussion about it that we didn't see. I think they were
Mm.
trying to trick the audience, but it never was going to happen. It was just so obvious.
No. No.
So I don't know why they went to
Yeah.
these lengths of disguising this negotiation he must have had with Otto, because they must have had some kind of talk about it. But we never saw that, did we?
We didn't. I don't know if he would. I think he was just trying to be defined, wasn't he, in what he wanted to do. It's a tricky one. You're right. I know what you mean. It kind of feels like if we've missed some sort of element of that.
Yeah.
But but it also seemed to work okay in my mind. That he might just make that decision off the cuff.
Yeah.
Kings can sometimes do that, can't they?
It's a shame. I think one of the strengths of Game of Thrones is you see the darker side of people.
Yeah.
And I have been kind of trying to see that in Viserys. And I kind of expected him to almost, push himself upon Alicent at some point, or there be some physical relationship with those two that might give him more reason to pick her.
Yes. Yeah.
But it doesn't
I think
seem that way.
Is it though an older man wanting a companion rather than I think he talks to her about the sort of historical side of things. She's
that's
trying
true,
to show
but
some sort of
there's definitely a heir thing, isn't there? They need the heir, they need the son.
Yes.
The minute that they get married, he's going to be shagging her and wanting children. So how she's going to feel about it, because they've also indicated that she's quite timid and potentially lesbian. So there's this side to it that doesn't sound like that's going to go down too well.
No.
The series, is it? So
no, I think that could be the issue, couldn't it? That she doesn't want it, and he has difficulty with her, in that respect.
Yeah.
It could be interesting.
Well, I guess we'll see. Yeah. No, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the episode, and it is good. I'm glad that they haven't gone too glossy, that it's dark.
No.
And but we just need to see that there's not quite the dark side come out yet.
No.
But I feel like that's on the way. So
yes. Yeah.
And
none of the
lesser.
I mean, in a lot of Game of Thrones, there aren't many characters that you could class as purely good. Everybody's got a grey factor about them, haven't they? They've all got their own agenda. They've all got their grey. It's more realistic, isn't it? Really, especially of a period of time. If we equated it to, the Dark Ages in our history. There was all sorts of shit going on, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Henry VIII had 6 wives, didn't he? It's like
yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to finding out about more about Prince Kragus, the crab feeder. I think he's going to be he's definitely they've promoted some good shots of this particular character, haven't they?
Yeah, they did,
looking
didn't they?
Kind of strangely
kind of a weird
Mad Max in a way.
It was a bit. Yes, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah. It was a
like
bit
one
Mad
of those
Max,
crazies out of Mad Max.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting.
He's tying people up and letting crabs eat them. So it's he is a bit of a crazy so and so.
He looks like he's hammering them nails through their hands onto posts on the beach line, isn't he? Beachfront. But if I was one of those, I think I'd just pull my hand out. Surely,
yeah.
I mean, if that was, I kept.
If it was already hammered through,
I wouldn't let those crabs eat me.
No, exactly.
So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Old George R. R. Martin's got a pretty sick brain, isn't he? So he'll come up with some way of keeping those people being eaten by crabs, no doubt.
And the other thing I was really pleased about, that
Mm,
they clearly, the production people have obviously watched one of our episodes
yeah,
and said to themselves, we need a proper intro to this program.
that is very true.
And I take full credit for that,
Yeah.
because we reviewed this and
Well, I sat there when that came on. I sat there. I said,
yeah.
"Greg will be pleased."
Ah, and I was quite pleased they used the same music from Game of
Yeah, me
Thrones.
too.
It's a great theme tune, isn't it? And
Mm,
and the whole principle of it, the animation was good,
yeah,
showing the different house sort of bits, that was
symbols
that
and
was
rising
symbols
and
and
sinking
crowns,
and
and yeah,
all the
yeah.
blood and
And the blood going around,
yeah,
yeah,
it's a lot of blood.
different but good,
Yeah, there's an idea behind, isn't there?
yes,
Inheritance and bloodline and
yes. Yeah, yeah. So that was the thing I was most pleased about. I was like, yay!
it was good. I was surprised because usually they do have it ready for the first episode, but they
Yes,
obviously
this
didn't, did
is.
they?
I know,
So
I know. Yeah, very odd, wasn't it?
yeah,
But yeah, I'm taking full credit for that one.
good. Put that one down.
um, yeah, and I'm pleased. I quite like the girl who's playing Rhaenyra as well, the heiress.
Yeah,
I think she plays it really well, and
Millie
she's got this
Alcock.
good. Yeah, she's got a really good stern look, hasn't she? The bit where
She's a good
she,
actress.
she was trying to sort of look at the those 5 or 6 soldiers that were going to become part of her guard,
Mm,
the king's guard. And she gave some very good sort of regal sort of looks, and I thought, yeah, she's going to be good. But I'm aware that there's going
yeah,
to be a
they're
bit of a
upgrading her.
time jump, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right.
And so
Episode three,
they'll
I
move on
think
to,
it comes in.
is it episode 3?
Yeah, because I'm
Wow.
just looking at the list here, and Alicent and Rhaenyra are have got their other actors
Get
listed.
replaced, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's a shame
yeah.
because I think Millie Alcock is great, and she's actually older than she looks. So
Right.
they could have upped her, they could have kept her, but I think
Yeah.
the Alicent is she looks quite young. I think they probably do
Hmm.
need to upgrade her. They're upgrading her with Olivia Cook as well, and I don't know whether that's going to.
Upgrading is a
Yeah,
bit of a
it
harsh word, Toby.
is. I know.
They've both done a good
Yeah,
job
they
of
have done a great
acting.
job.
It's
Yeah,
not an upgrade; it's just picking someone older.
you're right. You're right. It is.
But yeah,
It feels like that.
so I was a little bit feeling a bit of a shame that they're going to replace her, because I thought she was actually really good,
Yeah,
and has been a great. Yeah, I could imagine her as a princess, as a given a stern look at people, and
yeah. Me too.
going down that route. So
I think she's
yeah,
got a good future ahead of her. I think
yeah,
this will
yeah,
definitely bring her recognition. I mean, she is in the poster on for the show, so she's the
yes.
only figure there. So she's quite prominent, I think.
Oh, definitely,
Mm,
definitely. Yeah, yeah. I
cool.
wonder how many. I wonder how much of a jump that's going to be. How much time that will jump. That'd be
Yeah, who
interesting.
knows? I don't know.
Well, I think ultimately it's turning to be a good series, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
something that we're building it up nicely. I think this was something because we've done some She-Hulk reviews recently,
yeah,
and that was just like speeded through, isn't it? They're trying to get through it quick as they can. I think
yeah,
this again, laying some proper foundations, some proper building it, and that's what I want to see. Some real
yeah,
character stuff, and yeah, you're sort of starting to get a good flavor for who they are, where their positions lie.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased.
yeah. Me too. I'm
Yeah,
enjoying
well
it.
worth well worth recommending to other people.
Definitely.
Anyway, thanks very much for watching with us today. We've enjoyed talking about that, and obviously the next episode is out next Monday. So we will be hot on
Definitely.
that one to give us
Yeah.
another review. This is
Hmm.
definitely something we've been enjoying. If you like what we're saying, obviously please subscribe. That'd be great. We'd like to hear comments, or if you can tick the like box, that would be brilliant. Otherwise, thanks for listening and see you soon.